Hi, this is Dr. Shellie Hipsky. I'm the Global Empowerment Coach. I'm also the CEO of Inspiring Lives International, the Executive Director of the Global Sisterhood, the Editor-in-Chief of Inspiring Lives Magazine. I keynote around the world, and my 14th book, Mom Magic Mompreneur, just came out. I am so delighted to be on Conversations with Pearl.
Hello, sunshine, good to see you again. Had to walk out to let you back in. Stuck in a storm of a relationship. Lost my fire. Oh, and I forgot about me for way too long. But it's rolled on. Now there ain't no shade around here. Once you leave the clouds, you're under 80. Funny how there ain't no rain or clear. Why'd it take so long to leave you in the rearview mirror? Now nobody gonna steal my sunshine or turn my blue sky gray. All I know is at the end of the day, wildflowers grow when there ain't no shade.
Hey everybody, this is Pearl, and I'm so excited to be back with Conversations with Pearl. And today is a great day because I have a special guest who's also a friend, who's also been a mentor, and is just a fabulous lady joining us today. And so you guys sit back, put your feet up. If you have your PJs on, grab your cup of coffee, whatever it is you're doing right now, or just listening in the car, drive safe because you are about to be inspired by this amazing guest I have. And her name is Dr. Shellie Hipsky. She is the Global Empowerment Coach. Dr. Shellie Hipsky is the CEO of Inspiring Lives International. She's the president of the Global Sisterhood nonprofit and the editor-in-chief of Inspiring Lives magazine. She has been the keynote speaker from Hollywood to Harvard, has been on over 55 magazine covers, and her 14th book, Mom Magic Mompreneur, is just out, and it's amazing, you guys. So I'm excited. Welcome, Dr. Shellie. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm feeling very blessed to be here, especially with you, Pearl. I always love to see you in person, and now it's fun to be on your podcast.
I know, it's been so awesome, and you've connected me like with so many amazing women around the world. And I just love everything you're doing. And just with Christine last month. I don't know if I think you saw that, right? Here I go in Sarasota, and all of a sudden Christine walks in the door.
That was amazing.
It was so cool to see her and everything she's doing. So you are definitely inspiring lives. So I'm excited. I love to take the conversation first back to when you were younger and, much younger than what you are today, because you still are young today, as I tell everybody. But tell us a little bit about what was life like growing up for you? What was your childhood like?
So I had a idyllic childhood, Pearl. My parents are fantastic role models for everything from parenting to work ethic, the volunteering. They were always giving back. My father was a kidney specialist for 35 years, and my mother ran the local theater. So I say that's how I got both part of my brains going. He was the more analytical thought process, and she's definitely the creative soul. But I really learned from example from them. So that was a true blessing. And now that my kids are learning from them, like my son goes to the workshop with Big Jack, and they build together, and my mother and daughter both, but they share the love of theater, and my daughter's been doing lots of roles, and I sort of see myself in my children being able to be with these amazing role models in my parents. But it was a good upbringing, a good place to be, raised in Akron, Ohio. I wasn't a good student at first. In fact, I was a horrible student. They almost didn't think I was going to get out of high school. But then I went on to help children through I got my doctorate in educational leadership. And I really focused in on that first part of my career as a tenured university professor. I really focused in on those kids that learned in different ways. And now I work with adult women and helping them to achieve their dreams. So everything that I look back on from the my formative years has really shown me where I was going to go now in the years where I'm serving the needs of the women and children around the world.
That's so cool. And I love how you said, your daughter watching, your kids, we always want to be that great example for our children, right? We always want to
Yeah.
watch them grow and shine in their own way. And so I have a question for you, since your daughter's kind of on the same path with the theater and everything, like, what's advice have you given her? Like, what's the one big piece of advice you've given her as she starts walking? Because I'm watching all the things she's doing. It's phenomenal. All the stuff that she's doing, and it's just so much fun. It's also fun to watch you, in those pictures and just shining and being so proud of her. And so what's the one big advice that you're giving her right now as she's going through this journey?
Just to be yourself, just to let your inner beauty glow and shine through. I've never been that kind of parent that wanted to live through my children. I have plenty of my own life. So I just love watching her just become the best version of herself. That's what I work with my clients on, is becoming the best version of themselves. And she's just doing it so effortlessly. She's got the leads in the plays, and she's doing ballroom dance, and she's doing all these things. But when people ask her, and she modeled in LA, but people ask her, like, are you going to do this for the rest of your, is that what you want to do for a living? And she'll go, no, I'm going to be a trauma surgeon. And she's actually interning with one of the top trauma surgeons to shadow him. So I think that if you're true to yourself and you really focus on what you want to bring to the world and not what other people think you should bring to the world, then that's how our children are going to, rise up, and the women of the world are going to rise up, because they're really focusing on their childlike desires. Like, if I think about what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I do that exercise all the time with ladies, so Pearl, what did you want to be when you grew up?
So what did I want to be when I grew up? So I wanted to be a teacher, which is kind of ironic with the work that I do today, right? Like, I want to be a teacher. And I love what you said too about your daughter, because it's like, enjoy those things you want to do, because that brings you joy now. And then I was sitting here going, wow, she wants to be a trauma surgeon. How cool is that, to take what she's doing now and be able to, because surgeons, they have to change those hats, right? Those feelings. Mm-hmm. It's a great segue for her for that. And for me, yeah, I wanted to be a teacher growing up. And unfortunately for me, where I went to school, I didn't have great educators to teach me about, here's where you could go get your college if you can't afford it. Here's all those things you have. We didn't have that where I went to school. So I've worked since I was 14 years old, started babysitting, and everything I did from the ground up. And I wanted to learn what everybody did. I had an amazing, I never got to know him personally, because when I started with the mortgage company, he had brain cancer. But when I joined the company, he did this humongous fundraiser for childhood cancer. And I was just like, and you're all about giving back. And I was just like going, here's this man who's dying of cancer. He's brought in illusionists from Vegas, all over the world, all these different acts for us. Every employee, it was $250 a plate. He must have had 2,000 employees. Every employee got to go and bring a guest for free. And he raised over, I can't remember the amount of money. He raised tons of money that night. And I was just like, that was one of my first exposures going, you know what? And he didn't have a college education, which I was just like, wow, okay, so I'm okay. I can do this, even without that. I just need to work harder, work smarter, and put myself around people like you that can inspire me to be like, hey, you can do this, and here's how you can do it, right? And yeah, so now when I look back, I'm like going, I am an educator. It's just not
absolutely
high school educator, right? It's
exactly. You are educating. You are moving that needle for people that need it the most. And your story is so inspiring, Pearl. I'm so proud of you, watching your journey. So I think that you're definitely on the right track with what you're doing, and I'm so honored just to be here with you.
Thank you. It means a lot to me. You've been a big, for those that are listening, I met Dr. Shellie, I think a year ago, this past October, September. We were at a speakers competition, and it was just an amazing time and weekend. And I got to go on for the next year through Bill Walsh's program with you and Rainmakers, and that was just great education. And that's the whole thing about what you do too is inspiring, but also for everybody that's listening is like, put yourself around people who, are maybe a level or two above where you are, or
Mhm.
can put you in a room with other people and teach you, and you can learn and be inspired. You walk away with something from them. And then also, like, I really believe in, you don't just receive, you have to give back too, right? So like you were talking
Yes.
about with your foundation, and I really believe in that. I mean, I just did that this morning. My story is, as you know, and those that are listening know that I lost my son in July, very unexpectedly. And I was at his gravesite the other day, and I saw a few weeks ago, there was a covering, the tent they do when somebody's about to be buried. And I saw it, and I don't know what it was about that tent, but something kept driving me to go to that tent and watch for the marker to go up. And the other day, the marker was finally in the ground, and I went and looked, and Dr. Shellie, it was a young lady, 28 years old. And I thought, she's got to be somewhere in the world, because she's from here, connected to my son and somehow. So I started reaching out. I wanted to find out the mom, talk to the mom. The story is, she lost her child in childbirth. I mean, I'm sorry. She died during childbirth. Her child went to NICU. She died in her husband's arm, who he's only 29 years old. And I was just like, his story just touched me. So I reached out to him this morning before, while you and I were messaging. And I was like, how can I help? What do you need? And all he said, Miss Pearl, I cannot believe you reached out to me. I literally told him I put an angel in front of her marker. So if you wonder where that came from, nobody stole it from my son's site. I put it down for you. And I said, I just don't want to know what you need. He goes, really? I just need to raise enough money to pay off the lease of my car. I'm like, okay, we're going to take care of you. We're going to get it done. And so for me, like, you inspire people. It's like all about, how do we give back, right? How do we give back? And I share that because I watch what you do, and you just brought amazing women together that are mompreneurs. I like what you call mompreneurs, because you know me, I don't like the word stay-at-home mom. I hate that word, because who sits in a brick and mortar when they're at work? I don't know one mom who sits home and eat bombs all day long, right? So they're running the business of the house. And I love that you took these amazing women and had them share their stories. So tell us a little bit about that and how that came about, and tell us a little bit about some of the women that are in the book with you.
Absolutely. So it's Mom Magic Mompreneur. And it was actually connected through the woman who I connected up with is Angela Bell. And she connected up with a lot of these incredible women from around the world. And then I connected up with some of the other incredible women that I know throughout the Global Sisterhood. And, I've interviewed over 1,000 women from around the world over a period of time with the magazines and the television show that I had, Inspiring Lives with Dr. Shellie, and Empowering Women Radio, and Inspiring Lives magazine, and all those things. I've been able to really meet some incredible ladies. So it's about this book really brings together women from Australia, and women that have been through grief, like you've been through grief, but it's for that mom who may be a mompreneur, or maybe thinking about being, getting into business for herself, but maybe she's feeling overwhelmed. Maybe she's feeling unappreciated. Sometimes we deal with mom guilt. I know that was what my chapter was on, Pearl, was mom guilt. I called it Mom Guilt and a Magic Wand, because I was able to look back, now that I have teenagers, I was able to look back on the last 10 years of their life, from when I had to get a divorce when they were 3 years old and 5 years old. And I thought, oh my God, this is going to scar them for life. Like, I thought, that first custody, passing the kids off, and that moment was just going to stick in my kid's head forever. But then now that I'm on the other side of it, I can really look back and say, all those mom guilt moments I had made my kids resilient, made them stronger, made them independent. And so that's just a part of the lessons that are in this Mom Magic Mompreneur book.
I love that, because that's exactly, when I work with my women, I'm working with those women who are going, but I feel guilty if I take time out for myself. And just like you described, like, you think back, oh my gosh, am I scarring them when they go, like you explained, that divorce? And, I say to my mom, I told my mom, my parents were married for 43 years. They probably should have never been married. My mom goes, well, if we weren't married, we wouldn't have had you. I go, well, God created that you got married, but you probably shouldn't have stayed as long as you did, and I told my mom, I go, we would have been fine, but it was that the time, and, I'm not going to get religion or anything, but their faith was like, you don't get divorced, you
Yep.
stay with it. And she finally said, enough is enough. I'm not going to do this. And, and she looks back and she has regrets, but like I tell her, life's not a remote. We can't rewind it. So yeah, when I work with the women that I work with, like you do, it's like, it's okay to have, like you said, they're going to be stronger. In a lot of cases, they're so much better than staying in a relationship because, your kids, you said, were 3 and 5. And I think it's like up until 8 years old, they talk about that. That's a big, reference to what the rest of their life is going to be like. Right. So they're resilient. Like you said, they're strong, and, and our kids they're much stronger than we think they are. We worry about them probably a little more than we need to, but it's good to be the example. Like when I coach about becoming that Shiro lifestyle, right? Like the Shiro lifestyle doesn't mean you live life perfectly. You're not a hero all the time, but if you can show that you have time for self-care, you communicate that with your family and in your job or whatever that is for you, then people go, oh, okay. And if they don't like that you're putting yourself first, and they don't need to be in your circle. It's how, for me, that's how
I can't tell you how much I have begun to believe in that. I'm very empathetic person. I love to bring people into my world, and I have like the law of attraction going on. And I'm always bringing in these new people. But there comes a time in one's life when you realize that not everyone can be in your inner circle. It's not healthy. You have to have boundaries. And that's something I've struggled with, Pearl, like just because I want to help everybody.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's like you're like me. I'm a people pleaser. You need it. I'll do it. I'll say yes to, whatever it is you want me to do. I'll say
Absolutely.
yes. And you and I've had some things where I want to help, I want to work, but I'm like, it's just not the right time. And you're so respectful of that. And we have to be respectful when somebody gives us those boundaries. It's so important. And, it doesn't mean that they're, it's a season. We hear that often, it's a season, and it truly comes a season. And sometimes they season back around and it's something totally different and beautiful.
It is. It's incredible. Like I just had this Mom Magic Mompreneur book bash. And one of my world-class VIPs that had to, she came to a point in her career and her life that she couldn't do that anymore, even though she kind of wanted to. And she came back and did this huge book bash with me. And she was so surprised that, I kind of like took her back into the fold. But most people have good hearts, and most people, when they go through trying times, they either lean in for support or they pull away.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we need to be really respectful of that, because most of the time they do come back around. They do circulate back into your life if they were meant to be there. So yeah, no, it's amazing seeing people circulate back into one's life, and like you said, it's a season.
Yeah, it definitely, and sometimes it's a season that has to end too. Sometimes it's just like, you know what, this is not a good thing for me. The boundary, I remember going when my parents were divorcing, and Father Bill, I was talking with him. He's like, listen, you can pick your parents. You don't pick your parents. They're picked for you. You love them, but you could create boundaries. He called it a baseball game. He's like, you play the baseball game, and whoever you want in the inning comes in the inning. And if they have to sit in the bench, then they sit in the bench until it's time for them to come in. And guess what? If they're not a good player, then they get released from the team. I'm like, oh my God, that was just like,
I love that.
It was so easy to understand. And, it's so powerful. So I want to ask you, so you have all these things going on and, great things happening in your life, and you're being a mompreneur as well. What are some of your boundaries you set for yourself, and how are you finding that balance? For those that are listening, that are going, oh my gosh, I feel like I've got 10 heads coming out of my head. Share us about boundaries and how you set your boundaries and balance.
Well, like I said, I'm not the expert on boundaries. I do teach balance with my coaching clients, definitely. I have learned over time though, that having those boundaries, being able to say no instead of always saying yes, can be just such a freeing thing for us. I remember I spoke in front of a group of these like world-class young teenage women leaders. And I said, okay, I want you to turn to the person next to you and I want you to say no. And these girls were like, what? And I said, no, I want you to practice right now. I need you to say no. And so they did. They all turned to the person next to them. And some of them were sitting with their moms, and it was they weren't supposed to say no to their moms all the time. But I think that being able to say that one word sentence no can be so beneficial for us. And we're nice people, so it's a no thank you. It's a saying it in a kind way, but being able to pick and choose what you want to do. And Pearl, that was a beautiful example that you gave about wanting to do some of the things that I do with my clients. And we got almost there, but then you decided, no, this isn't the right time in my life right now. Someday I could circle back. And I was totally like, of course you can, this is not on my timing. It's on divine timing. Like, I can't force any of this to work. Otherwise the exercises and the communication and the networking and stuff, it's not going to work out the way that it's supposed to be.
Yeah. And it's so true. And I love how you gave the example about how we're polite, right? Like we say, yes, so excitedly. Yes, I want to go do that. Let's go do it now. Right. Then we go, oh no, I can't, like that comes over. Right. And I love that you were like, practice saying no. And, I work with my clients too, go, okay, I want you to say no. Like you're so excited. Like it's your birthday and everybody's gave you a surprise party. They're like going, what? I'm like, you want to say no, I mean, it took me the longest time. I said yes to everything before. And I had to actually take a pebble and put it in my pocket and move it 3 times during the day to say no to something. 3 times during the day, I had to say no. So therefore, I really thought about what I was saying yes to. And then I had to find a way to say it without feeling guilty because I wasn't doing it right. Mm-hmm. And what triggered for me was that I was in a room with somebody and I was telling them I wasn't able to do the function they were going to do. And I said to them, hey, but you know what? I might circle around with me next October. That's when I do my visions and my goals for the next year. Come back around. Maybe it's a good fit. Well, while I was there, somebody else was standing there with us and like, hey, I've always wanted to do that. I would love to help out if Pearl can't help out. And that was like a big aha going, I said no, but I really let her be able to say yes. So if I had said yes to it, this person would have been able to shine in what her genius is, And so we have to remember that too. It's so powerful to remember that. I just love that you share that. So, okay. So what's coming up now? I love you guys. Whenever I go with Dr. Shellie, wherever she's at, she finds opportunities. And I think this is really powerful. Like about this time last year, we were in Vegas. And the last day, I think it was, you were going to the Red Rock Mountains. Is that what it was called?
Yes, for one of my big photo shoots. Yes, always.
I love that you do that. I love that, wherever you go, and that's one of the things that I've taken from you too, is that no matter where you go, try to find something you can do to give back or something that helps build your business, right? So share with us, like, where did that concept come from and what's happening next for you?
Oh my gosh. So I'm always on the lookout for the next way to level up my branding, to give back, as you said. I mean, I've done so much giving back from, helping out on Skid Row when I was in LA to, and through the Global Sisterhood, of course, we have multiple, I think 40 different charity partnerships that we work with to help women that are homeless, that are going through domestic violence, that are, poverty stricken, from our school in Tanzania for entrepreneurs to right here in the United States. We're helping out all the time. But I'm always looking for those ways. How can I level this trip up? And in a few days, I actually have a major trip. I'm going to do a women's retreat in New Orleans, and that's going to be amazing. There's all these different things built into that. I'm then going to Atlanta, and then I am going to Vegas to be honored by the OATOP, which is the top professionals in the world. And I was chosen as the top global empowerment coach for the year of the world. So I'm very excited about that. Thank you. So I'll be honored at the Bellagio. But then another opportunity came, a couple opportunities came up. So I'm going to be doing this incredible photo shoot in Hollywood there. And then I'm going back in May because I'm exploring the other part of myself and my world, which is my vocals. I'm actually going to be in studio with a incredible Hollywood producer, and we're going to be making music and magic happen in the studio. I'm actually going to be recording some original songs. So I'm very excited about that.
Like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. I just love all these great things. And so those that are listening, I mean, it's really, for me, that's an inspiration. Like wherever you're at, find something you can do that, whether you're an entrepreneur or not, like even if you're just on vacation, like find something unique to get away. If you're with like my family laughs every time we go on vacation. I'm like, I'm going to go do this thing over here. They're like, that has something to do with why we're here. I'm like, I know, but I want to go do this, like, and it could just be having to get a massage on the beach, whatever it is, it's just something very different. And I think it's so important that we take the opportunity. And that's one of the things that I've taken from the loss of my son is that life is short. You don't promise the next minute. So whatever you have right now, like really, you guys, if you're listening, find what brings you joy, find what makes you happy. And if you're in a situation right now where you're not happy, like reach out to somebody. You can reach out to me. We're going to put connections for Dr. Shellie on here as well. But, we have our weekly Shiro League that we do every Sunday evening from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern time. And I love it, Dr. Shellie, because we bring incredible women together. It's a community of women. We're in our PJs. We might have a dance off or two during the nights, but we just have a really great time. And it's not recorded because we want it to be a safe space for women to come. And we've had situations where in the middle of the meeting, something's happened in somebody's home and we had to sit there and be present with them and be like, we're right here, go. And we sat quietly and some of us prayed, all those different things. And I just love that you're bringing women together around the world with everything you're doing. I think it's so powerful and so inspiring, which is what you are all about. And I'm so excited for what's upcoming for you. And I'm very honored that you're with us today. And for the listeners that are listening, tell them some of your social media where they can find you at.
Oh, so Instagram, it's Dr. Shellie, real easy, but Shellie with an IE. And Facebook, of course, TikTok, got a little TikTok going on. And so everywhere you can find me at either Dr. Shellie or ShellieHipsky.com is the main hub for me to so they can learn about all my coaching that I do. My Empower You Masterclass, which is my signature course, my books, how to book me as a speaker, how to, just connect with me. Cause I love people. I want to get to know you. Please connect with me. That would be amazing.
Yes. She loves people. We're going to put all of that when we launch the podcast over the next couple of weeks. We'll put all that over there for everybody can find it. And then they can go on Amazon to get the book. Where do they find the book at again?
They can actually go to my website, or they can go to Amazon, or they can go to Barnes and Nobles. We're everywhere books are sold.
Awesome. I'm so excited. All right. So before we close out, everybody who listens knows, and they're probably sitting there going, oh, I wonder what card she's getting today. But we have these Better Question, Better Life cards. And my good friend Carol Gill and her friend Diane Allen create these cards. I get nothing. I know, like on TikTok and all that, there's all these affiliates. I'm not that. I just love these cards. These cards were a big part of, are a big part of my life. Were a big part of my son's life. He actually went to heaven with a deck of cards with him. So he can have some time with himself and up in heaven. But we're going to shuffle them and you're going to tell us when to stop. And then we're going to read your cards so you can answer. So here we go. Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Okay. So your question is, I love this question. What am I grateful for?
Oh, what am I grateful for? Oh, of course, I'm grateful for my family, my friends. I'm grateful for the freedom to be able to do my mission. I'm grateful that I'm able to do that. That for me is hugely important, that I'm able to do my mission to inspire and empower the women of the world and still keep family first and close to my heart.
I love that. That is so powerful. And, you know, that's what I think a lot of women around the world, they just want that freedom to be able to do the things that they want to. And that's what I know you love to empower women about. That's what I love to empower women as well. So I'm so excited we had you here. And before I let everybody go, I want to remind everybody. So I'm really excited. Our retreat in September was such a huge success that we have our 7th one next year. We're going to have 25 women. Normally we keep it to 12 to 15. And everybody was like, I want to come. They kept seeing everything we were doing this year. So we're upping it to 25, but we only have 8 spots left. So if you want to grab it, you need to grab it now. And the really great thing is you have over $2,100 in bonuses. I have a 6-week course you'll get included in your ticket. You get to come to our Vision Purse event where we create your purse, your vision on a purse. And then we also have our Shira League. You'll get a membership in the Shira League for 1 year. So go to wslivingretreats.com to grab your spot today because you don't want to miss out. And we just booked the house on the beach with our own pool and access. It's like heaven. It's just amazing. So it's going to be beautiful. So go to wslivingretreats.com. And as we get ready to leave, I want to thank Dr. Shellie for being with us today. And I want to remind everybody that you come into this world as this amazing oyster. You're a little rough on the outside, but on the inside, you are this beautiful pearl. And I hope you have an amazing day as you find your inner pearly greatness. Thank you.